Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Two Ball Golf Show podcast, episode 6. Why do I keep saying double welcomes?
And they said it would never last.
Here he goes again. Well, the title of this podcast, I think, really does pop. And it will be interesting to see if sex does actually sell golf. Because if we get lots of views from this video, it means that sex does sell. However, Bernie, you've got something to bring up early doors about women's, ladies' participation.
It's quite a not controversial subject, but we do get asked. I get it on my channel. I know you get it on your channel. We've had it on here before about why didn't we talk about the Solheim Cup? Why don't we mention ladies' golf, etc. So it's nice to actually address a subject which I think is one that doesn't get talked about enough. And the subject is basically, why is there a lack of female participants in members' golf clubs?
Okay. And you were reading through a stat, weren't you? You were saying sort of it's around the sort of 10 to 15% mark.
So according to England Golf, who've done research over the last year or 18 months, however long they've conducted the research, is 13% of participants are female members of golf clubs.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I actually saw a video I think a couple of weeks ago that was saying that from the PGA that said in their research, they said that it's 25%, which I have to say is, I'm not sure I believe that, because I as being a general manager of a golf club in the past, being a head pro of a golf club in the past, I know that the projections that I had was that we were moving from around 10, between, well, it was more like 14% participation with the club that we were at, was moving steadily down to 10%, of which I know it hit that mark at 10%.
Yeah.
So if you're saying that it's 13% across the board,
that's the stat I've just
read. In the UK or in
today.
England?
In England, yeah, England golf,
isn't
yeah.
it?
So England golf.
Yeah.
And what do you think the average age of the female membership is?
Oh, it's got to be 60s.
Yeah, 64. So the male equivalent is 54, which again is alarmingly high.
I think that's come down though.
It has come down fractionally, I'd say, because I would say there's more since COVID. There's more younger people. I know in my friend group there's a lot more lads in their 20s and 30s and 40s playing golf now, whereas previously they wouldn't have played. They were playing football, cricket, and other team sports, and they've now sort of got pushed into golf because of circumstances and the pandemic, and they now play golf and enjoy golf, which is a positive from the pandemic as far as I'm concerned. But that is for lady golfers. I mean, what my issue with that is, there's a few reasons I want to address why I don't think there's many female participants in golf of a younger age.
Okay.
Firstly, being a lot of golf clubs, I use Churston as an example, Torquay as an example, they have a ladies' day, which is where they run their competitions, and that is a weekday.
Tuesday,
that's the same at Torquay. At Churston, it can vary on the days, but it's a weekday.
Yep.
So if I'm 16, 17-year-old female, how am I going to play in competitions? They basically will have to have an alternative day to play, which is normally a Saturday or Sunday. Saturday at most clubs, male day, men's day. Hard to get a tee time, particularly in the morning. So you'll end up playing possibly on a Sunday with the other ladies that generally work, which at Torquay there was less than 5 or 6 that played on a weekend. So you've got such a small amount of people you can actually play golf with in a competition, and they were running a separate competition with 6 people, maybe less at times. So how's that going to encourage them to play golf competitively?
Well, I mean, you mentioned their 16, 17-year-olds, and they would fall in my thoughts would be they would fall in the category of junior golfers, of which most junior golfers are playing their games of golf maybe in the evenings, but more so Sunday competition day.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I think.
Okay, you just use an example of a 20-year-old.
Yeah, more like
college or work,
or let's say young mums.
Yeah,
young mums. Okay, mums that have that have kids, work.
Yeah.
Time is a factor. Time is a massive factor here for it.
Yeah.
And mums on a Saturday and Sunday, even if they got time off from work, our Saturdays and Sundays at home, and I use my wife Laura as an example of this. You know, we've got 2 kids. On Saturdays, we're taking them to golf.
Yeah.
Saturday afternoons, we're generally doing something as a family. Sundays is generally football time. So, you know, you're pretty busy. Weekends are going to be pretty busy for most parents, really.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe dad can slip out and get 18 holes in throughout the weekend if he tees off early or whatever. But there's always issues there. But the mums are generally going to be, or females are going to be in a position where it's going to be a little bit tight because they're working through the week, can't get out of weekends. Why can't they get out of weekends though, Bernie?
Well, I mean, they can, but they're not accepted into male competitions.
I was going to say, because there's every Saturday here.
Yeah, it's meant. I mean,
it's competition day.
I mean, they're allowed to play, or the club allow them to play in certain competitions, and they can enter a medal score. But I don't think I'll have to find out. 'Cause I don't know the actual.
But what you're saying
answer,
then,
but there is other factors as well.
You're saying that you don't feel like it's welcoming enough.
So that was point number 2. Really, is I've had girlfriends in the past. I've been seeing girls who I've been at the golf club to come at the golf club for a drink or meet me after the round, and they felt that they couldn't walk into the golf club. Everyone stares at them, looks at them, and they just didn't feel welcome at the golf club.
Yeah.
That's not every golf club. The golf club I was at previously, I felt it was more welcoming. They felt it was more welcoming, but particularly at this golf club, and it would be similar to a lot of members clubs. To get lady golfers and women golfers, particularly young ones, do not feel comfortable or welcome at that golf club.
So then we move on then to, and the title of this video podcast.
Have I gone off on a tangent?
No, it's fine. I get where you're coming from. I mean, you can go down loads of rabbit holes with this one.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, everyone's got their own opinion on exactly what it is. That's just your sort of view on it from what you've experienced. But now we look at the era of social media, and we look at females that are in the social media space that play golf or are coming into the game of golf or whatever.
Yeah.
And in your opinion, and I'm not saying all of them, but the vast majority is short skirts, tight tops.
Yeah.
Now, my question to that is, who are they targeting? They're trying to target an audience of female participation to generate more females into the game of golf. I get that.
Yeah.
But I wonder what the percentage of who's watching them. Is it men watching them because they're perving over them? Okay?
Yeah.
Or are they actually moving the needle to get more females into the game of golf? That's my big question for you. What do you think?
It's a tricky one because those type of social media influencers, we'll call them that, they can be seen as role models for the younger generation. You know, they've got the confidence to play golf or go at golf clubs or be in a male dominated environment. So that's good in one way, to have the actual, you know, testicular fortitude and to actually go and put yourself out and about and to not worry about that. It's brilliant. To me, that's brilliant to see. But I would say the vast majority of their followers and people that watch their stories, their posts, etc., are going to be male golfers who are basically perving over them. Or
the younger element, so the kids coming up through the ranks might look and say, well, that's cool. You know, that's cool.
Yeah.
You look at when Tiger Woods hit, and we were young at the time, when Tiger Woods hit the limelight, you know, he made golf look cool, you know, didn't he?
He would have probably suffered the same sort of issues that some of the younger girls getting into golf would probably have encountered.
Yeah, 100%.
Being of his origins and not being traditional white male,
which golf
is what golf is. It's seen as that. Him being different, and you know, he was coming around in the 90s where, I mean, racism and stuff like that. I mean, I don't really want to get into that, but it was quite that type of generation that playing golf.
Time.
Yeah, I mean, he would have suffered.
Time.
He wouldn't have been allowed to go to certain golf clubs. He would have been, you know, seen as he wouldn't have been welcome. I would have thought, particularly in the States in certain areas. I know it's improved massively now, and it's great to see, and it should completely change, and it is starting to I believe, go in the right direction.
Yeah.
But he would have probably suffered the same sort of issues that girls getting into golf.
Correct. And I'm not going to call this golf club out. And the reason I'm not going to call this golf club out, because things may have changed.
Yeah.
Okay. I went to a PGA event with Laura, who was playing in a WPGA event. And we arrived at the venue. And it's all, obviously, the tees are all booked out for the women's PGA players.
Yeah.
And we walk into the front entrance, and we were stopped by the steward of the club to say, "I'm very sorry, but this is women are not allowed to enter the clubhouse through this door." I lost it.
Yeah.
I absolutely lost it with him. I couldn't believe that the head of the PGA was a member of a club, and they were hosting a WPGA event there that stopped people from coming in.
Yeah.
I was allowed in, but Laura was not allowed in. Laura had to go around to the side door, come in through the ladies' changing room, and come in that way. And I argued with him, and I said, "How dare you hold an event here for women's golf and not allow them to come in through the main entrance of the clubhouse?" I said, so I have a better understanding of what's going on with this place.
Yeah.
I said, "What else are women not allowed to do?" He said, "Women are not allowed to walk across the front of the clubhouse in front of the putting green."
So I mean, I know he sounds a bit like a job's worth, but he was probably just following
the rules of the club,
which is not his fault. And no. I would, the golf club. I mean, that golf club, I would not play golf at that golf club. And secondly,
they may have changed things. I would like to think they've changed things by now. That was back in that would have been, Lester. That would have been in 2007, 2008. We're in the 2000s, by the way.
Yeah,
of which that's what happened.
But as well, why are the ladies PGA holding an event at that place? Like, that's another mistake. Like, sorry, if you're not welcoming us in here, why would you play it there? Go somewhere else.
And it's that attitude that is holding 100%. The game of golf back in women's golf.
Dan, I wouldn't even go into there's a couple of gentlemen called gentlemen's clubs, which the whole thing's so outdated.
Yeah.
But it's men only in certain bars. I wouldn't even go in there. Like, a couple of my friends go and play snooker there. I would like, "Do you want to come play snooker?" No, because I just think it's so discriminative, isn't it? It's horrendous. Like, why? We should be encouraging everybody to play golf.
Yeah.
You know, age, gender, race, sexual orientation, everything.
And the facts are
open to all.
The facts are that when I talk about these social media women that are now in that space, I know from conversations that I've had with a couple of them that they've experienced so much negativity when it comes to the game of golf and being, going to certain golf clubs that are high up on the list of what people want to play, and they have had some negative feedback when they've arrived or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They've had negative feedback from the clubs, and so it hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped, and golf is its own problem at the end of the day.
Unfortunately, I heard a good one a couple of months ago, and it was traditional golf clubs are basically 70-year-old people telling 50-year-old people what 30-year-old people want. Yeah. And I think that just sums it up brilliantly. And
so the question is sex selling golf?
I don't think it is. It's not, is it? Because the trend now is there's less female participants in golf.
Yeah.
Like, membership-wise. I mean,
it's going down.
It's going down, so it's not, is it? So the simple answer, we know.
Yeah. Okay.
I do like. I'm not. I don't want to be completely negative about the situation. And there's some great initiatives by England Golf, by some golf clubs. I know locally.
Yeah.
There's ladies' nights, and there's trying to get new members in. They've done that at Churston, which is great. They've had head pro Harry was giving lessons, free lessons as well. So to try and encourage them to sort of convert. And when I was at Torquay, which would have been mid-2000s, like 2005, 2006, I ran a couple of group sessions on a Monday night, and it was members' wives and members' daughters, basically, and a few other people. And I had like 10 ladies of varying ages, and we used to go in the studio and we'd go on the golf course. But do you know how many of those 10, I did it for 2 years before I left, do you know how many of them became full members and actually play golf now?
No.
None. So I converted. So my own fault as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't convert any of them to full membership.
Yeah.
And also the club didn't look to convert them. And I had them for 2 years.
I've got a question then. Who paid for this coaching?
For the ladies coaching, they did.
The ladies paid.
They were paying
the
themselves.
women paid for themselves.
They asked me to do a...
So the club didn't do it?
No, they used to go in afterwards, which was nice to have a drink and meet their husbands and stuff. It was a Monday night.
Yeah.
And they would come up the club more.
Yeah.
So it was good in that way that it made them socialise more. But I couldn't get them to join the golf club because they didn't... I did keep asking them why you won't join. Didn't feel like they'd be welcome at the golf club playing golf on the golf course.
Yeah, I get
and that was sad.
Yeah, it is sad. It is sad, and it's something that needs to be continually be addressed.
So I feel like it's got better through the different ages and different. So like as a junior, when we remember up here, we weren't encouraged at all.
Yeah.
But that's improved. Like we're encouraged now. Like I remember, until you got to 28 handicap, you had restrictions of what times you could play. You had to play with an adult. Didn't matter if you were 18 years old and you were 29 handicap, you couldn't go out on that golf course during certain periods of time because they said, no, you're not good enough to be on the golf course. Yet there was senior golfers who had a 28 handicap who I would, when I was off 29, would beat by 20 shots around the golf course and knew better etiquette than they did and was quicker, but I wasn't allowed on that golf course. How am I going to improve?
What's the answer, Bernie? What's your answer to that what we're talking about there with the female participation?
To try and get more to play?
Yeah.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Golf clubs have got to be more open.
Yeah.
They've got to. It's not just ladies or female participation. They've got to look to encourage the younger generation to play golf. Whether that's flexi membership, more competitions, make the place more accessible.
Yeah.
Relax the rules slightly. I'm not saying get rid of them completely, but relax. Say relax the dress code, which they've started to do. Make the golf clubs nicer as well, more welcoming, modernise them. There's a lot of golf clubs locally, they're not modernised, they're not they're not particularly great places to go and socialise.
No.
What do you think?
Personally, I think you could blame the golf clubs in the fact that it's the golf club, but actually, if you probably go to every board meeting in every golf club,
it's the people in the golf clubs.
It's the majority of the board members are trying, and it probably comes up in conversation every meeting.
Yeah.
What are we doing to help junior development, help female development, all of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
What can we do to increase our membership? What do we do to increase our participation on the golf course? It would have happened every other meeting that I was at in a board meeting.
Yeah.
It's not the board.
No.
But they need to be stronger. Boards of golf clubs need to be stronger. General managers that are brought into golf clubs need to be given more power.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, majority of the time, it's the tail wagging the dog. And the members of golf clubs can get into their little cliques of people. They get their feet well and truly under the carpet by the time they're in there a couple of years. They're happy. And they're the ones causing the issue of which golf clubs need to deal with those people. And as soon as they deal with those people and start, almost like, if you don't like it, leave, we're changing the way we do things here.
Yeah.
Until it changes, until golf clubs get stronger, as in taking control of how the members go about their business within their golf club, it won't change.
No, but they do. Golf clubs do need to look at this and encourage it, because golf clubs are closing down at an alarming rate because they haven't got the members.
Yeah.
I mean, if you suddenly got 50, imagine here, and you suddenly got 50 lady members join, they're going to encourage their husbands to play golf, maybe to start playing. They might be the wives and girlfriends of existing members, which means then they're going to spend more social time at the golf club, which means they're going to spend more money, which is going to encourage, like I say, it's not going to encourage, it's going to increase revenue, which is only beneficial to a golf club. Yeah.
For me personally, a prime example of this is, and Laura's a golfer, Laura's a golf pro, my wife is a golf pro. If the only place at this moment in time that I can think off the top of my head where I am completely comfortable about
I know what you're going to say.
bringing my family or my wife into a golf environment, there's only one golf club that really sticks out to me that I feel is Trevose Golf Club.
I knew you were going to say that. I totally agree.
Because we went there, I was camping down there, we had a bit of a rough night because it was bad weather, and I said, jump in the van, let's head up to Trevose and let's go and get some breakfast. And we were welcomed with open arms, and it was a fantastic environment to bring your family and have breakfast.
Could you imagine walking into a traditional golf club like that on, say, a Sunday and ask for breakfast? What you'd be met with?
No,
They wouldn't let you in,
can't.
would they?
It
They would
doesn't-
be
it
like,
just-
sorry,
yeah.
but you're a member?
Yeah.
No. All right. It's just strange, isn't it?
So for me, I think, wrapping this kind of up in the fact that what can be done.
Yeah.
Clubs need to take a bit more control. Trevose take control.
Yeah.
Their members are not.
And that's
put in
why
a
they're
position-
thriving, isn't
yeah,
it?
and that's why they're doing so well.
Yeah, exactly,
So
100%.
that attitude needs to change from the membership that's at the club, I'm afraid. And some people listening to this podcast or watching this video are going to probably shake their head and things like that. But for the most part, there'll be 1,000+ people that watch or listen to this video who are members of golf club that actually can do something about it themselves.
Yeah.
And I urge them to do that.
It'd be nice to hear from any people listening or watching this particular podcast of what their club does to try and increase it, or whether they've got a sort of a thriving ladies section, and how they've managed to do it. Because we haven't got the answers, have we? We're just using our experience. But if they've got any answers, then brilliant. Put it into the comment section, and then hopefully maybe if we've got a few golf club managers or committee members or board members watching from different places, and they might give them some ideas to actually then improve the situation that currently they find themselves in.
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect time to introduce our sponsors for this particular show, and that is Just Golf Online. They've got some of the best deals out there, liquidation products from possibly a year ago, 2 years ago, or even actually current, that they are on sale now with Just Golf Online. Go and check them out and see what deal you can get. We've got now 600 appearances. The Alfred Dunhill Championship this weekend just gone. 600 DP World Tour appearances from Thomas Bjorn.
Brilliant achievement. Great player. Should have been Open champion.
Yeah.
Could have been Open champion.
Do you know who was on the bag when he was nearly Open champion?
It was Billy Foster.
Billy Foster.
Yeah, our friend. So he's done really well. Former Ryder Cup captain as well. Ryder Cup player.
Captain, winning captain.
Still playing on the tour, which is impressive because he's in the twilight of his career, isn't he? As such, good character, I'd say, more than anything. He was around the time when there was more characters in the game.
Yeah.
Or seemingly more characters, and a little bit different, wasn't he? It still is a little bit different.
Well, I think he was, a bit like, I think about Sam Torrance and the likes of possibly Woozy and that kind of Seve. That I know he's not necessarily in that Darren Clark. I know he's not necessarily in that era, should we say, of those guys down there. But he is a massive supporter and has continued to be a massive supporter of the DP World Tour, which was the European Tour. Just a huge supporter of golf over in Europe.
Did he play much in the States?
Probably just majors.
Yeah.
I don't think it was kind of his thing. I actually think he's based in the UK. I think his home is based in the UK, even though he's Danish. Yeah. But 600 appearances is pretty good, and to continue, maintain your card, continue to keep grafting and grinding away, and because life for him is tour.
Yeah, I mean he's not. I would very much doubt he's going to need the money these days. I mean he's had so many years on tour. He'd have had good sponsorship deals. He's won some big events. So he'll never need to buy a drink again after being the Ryder Cup captain winner. But I mean, just playing on tour for that long and have the motivation to still practice, still compete at the highest level.
Yeah.
And to try. I mean, his aim now every year, I guess, would be to finish top whatever, to keep his card and to keep playing on the main tour rather than moving into the sort of the Legends Tour, Senior Tour. So it's brilliant that he's still able to do that, and it's a great achievement, isn't it? 600 appearances. Can he get to 700?
We'll see, won't we?
Yeah.
We'll see. Bit like this podcast. Will we get it to 700 episodes, Bernie?
6. Couple of noughts off.
Moving on to, and I know I feel like we've talked about the Ryder Cup enough, but I just want to bring us back. Or no, I'm going to move us on to 2 years' time. Bethpage Black. I've played the golf course. I was one of the last people to play the golf course before the PGA Championships when Brooks Koepka won it.
I remember you bought me a hat back, didn't you?
2019 maybe? Something like that. It's in New York.
Yeah.
And it is quite possibly the toughest golf course I have played to date.
It beat you up, didn't it?
Oh my goodness.
Destroyed you.
And what I would say by that is that it's particularly long.
Yeah.
So it fell into the hands nicely of like the likes of Brooks Koepka. But it was once you got it into play.
Yeah.
I was battering in longer clubs into the greens, and then when you got on the greens, they were literally like putting on a glass table.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and you talk about like the European golf compared to the US golf, they're going to set it up as glassy as possible because it's going to fall more into the hands of the US team, should we say. The reason I've brought this up is because Davis Love III, who is a multiple captain for the Ryder Cup, he's played many President's Cups, Ryder Cups.
Good, isn't he? Still long.
Yeah, Champions Tour. He people would recognise him because he would have partnered up with Freddie Couples over the years. That was a good partnership. He says that that Tiger is the next logical choice for the Ryder Cup captaincy at Bethpage Black in New York. What do you think on that?
I understand the link because he obviously won a major championship round that particular golf course. I'm sure he did. I think he won the US Open round there. Pretty sure he did.
Okay.
Might be wrong, so apologies if I am, but I'm pretty sure he has one round there. I still think that Tiger Woods still believes that he can play Ryder Cup. He can play in the Ryder Cup and be part of that team. I still believe he does. Like, I don't think he can, but I still think I don't think you lose that competitive edge and competitive spirit that he seems to always have. And every time he's been wrote off, like, he'll never play, he'll never walk again, he'll never play on tour again, he'll never win a major. He's proved all the doubters wrong, and I still believe that he probably is looking at that thinking, let's get fit, let's give it a go and see if I can actually make the team.
The problem is he will not be able to walk around that golf course for 36 holes or 3 days. It will kill him. I mean, it's a he has to play golf a lot of the time in buggies now. Yeah. So he's like, that's gonna be perfect for him on the Champions Tour, isn't it? Because they use buggies.
Yeah.
But I just...
Do you think he'll never get his health back where he could walk around the golf?
No, I don't think he's health-wise. He's a fit guy, isn't he? But I just don't think he's got the injuries have taken their toll.
What I mean, he's not fit enough to walk around.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's down to him. I don't think he can probably get it back there. I just think he's physically...
Yeah, because he would give it every opportunity.
If anyone was going to get, if anyone was going to do that, it'd be him, But I do see...
Do you think he'd want to be Ryder Cup captain?
Well, I think I think in the background he's become very much a mentor to a lot of these kids coming up through the ranks. Do
you think it's about still staying relevant as well?
100%.
And that might be his motivation.
Yeah.
Like, not saying that's right or wrong, but once you've been a global superstar in the likes of Michael Jordan, and he's up there, isn't he, as one of the most recognisable sportsmen ever in the world. To stay relevant is probably...
I think it's important.
I think
he's
got the brand, isn't he? He's got the TW brand that's still with Nike and whatnot, and maybe that might be his motivation to do that. But he was never really, in my opinion, a Ryder Cup player, was he? He wasn't a team player.
No,
he was very much individual.
I think he struggled to get partners.
His record's horrendous, isn't it?
Nobody.
I mean, everybody. When he first burst onto the scene, Ryder Cup, everyone wanted to play with him. I would say in the last 2 or 3 appearances, then people weren't that keen to play with him, were they? No. It was just he got paired with Mickelson. They played different golf balls. They generally didn't like each other.
Yeah.
And then, he was shoved with anybody, wasn't he? Really, towards the end. So it'd be an interesting one whether he can motivate the players. I guess he can, just his name value, but. Yeah. Will he be a good choice? I'm not too sure.
Well, I actually think it'll be perfect for him because the reason I say that is that New York is going to be brutal.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, it's not going to be brutal as in, but for the Europeans, it's going to be brutal.
Partisan crowd, isn't it? And
the New York crowd get very excited.
Yeah.
They love a good shout, they love a good drink, and in fact, I would like to be there because I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it will be towards the Europeans, especially with what happened this time with Patrick Cantlay and all of that side of things, and how they possibly wound it up, and the fact that they know that they are almost like the 15th club weapon. Yeah. They will get very excited to be there. So I think if and Tiger will want to win it. And I think that if you're in New York, you've got just as good a chance of winning there than anywhere else. Well, I think the most chance.
Is there many other
candidates.
Really. I mean, that's what I know. That's what they were sort of saying what I read in the press about the subject. There wasn't any outstanding or anybody that's like, or they didn't seem to name anybody. Also, quite a few of the lads that are in the twilight of their career have gone live, haven't they? So you like to Mickelson. I mean, he's never going to be captain unless
it all changes
completely. And a few of the older ones, have gone over there as well. So he's probably the only. But he's one of them. He's the leading candidate. So it'll be interesting to see whether he takes it or not.
Yeah, I think he will. I think if he's asked, I think that would be perfect for him.
I mean, he's always been a big supporter of the PGA Tour, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's been quite. Again, he's not been as outspoken as he likes of McIlroy, but he's still been sort of defending the PGA, hasn't he, and sort of campaigning for the PGA against Liv. So maybe that will might be a deciding factor as well. The fact that he's so he's liked by the top guys in the PGA organisation.
Well, the question really was from this podcast: does sex sell golf? And the reality from my point of view is... A couple of
sexy guys here.
Well, I put a post out. I put a video out.
Perfect Facebook podcast?
Yeah, perfect Facebook. I put a video out last week, which was all about OnlyFans, and that didn't get very many clicks. No. I'm not sure if...
Probably the threat of either you or Al being naked was probably enough to turn
Slightly concerning.
You do put videos out round about dinner time, so I think there'd be a few people that are worried about their dinner repeating on themselves or being brought back up.
Brilliant, love it. Well, Bernie, I don't have anything else that I want to bring to the table for this particular two-ball golf show. Is there anything else that you want to say?
That's becoming a bit of a common theme, Dan.
What, me not having anything?
No, just thanks everyone for the support so far for the podcast. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yep.
If there's any subjects that you want us to cover, comment below if you're watching it on the YouTube platform. If not, private message us, email us, whatever, get in contact and we will discuss with our limited knowledge any subject you want us to address.
Love it. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you on the next episode.